Okay, everybody, an update on the pollution situation in Victoria. I just thought I'd look at the sky today, and you can sort of see the sun here. It's just this little orange dot. It's basically like a copper-colored disc in the sky now. And I wanted to just show that because you can compare it to what the sky was like just a few days ago when I did my initial thing about particulates. Yeah, it's really gotten bad in the past 24 hours here. And some of this is probably some high overcast, but it should not be like this. I mean, I've seen conditions like this during forest fire periods, in the last few years, and yeah, this is what will happen periodically. We haven't got a major fire on the island, but of course we're getting hit by plumes of smoke coming up from the burning forests of Oregon and Washington State right now. And I'm just going to swivel the camera around a bit and show the horizon here. And again, Mount Ptolemy is, you can't really see the top of it now because there's just so much stuff in the atmosphere just between us and the mountain. And you could compare that again with the footage from earlier in the week. So, well, the thing is that it's noon hour in this time zone, and if it were something like fog, it would have burned off by now. So it's September the 12th, 2020, that year again. So far we've had like hurricanes hitting North America, and now we're getting wildfires, and there's a big storm as well in the middle of the country too that has been underreported this summer, and of course ongoing thing with COVID. So yeah, it's things continue to get interesting here. And I want to just give you some stats that I pulled off the AccuWeather website just earlier this hour. Air quality index values should be around 30 right now in Portland, and they're looking at over 300. And in Seattle, over 200. Vancouver, 227. That's our Vancouver, not theirs, but of course it's probably pretty bad in the US Vancouver as well. And San Francisco was down to 176. Remember those kind of blood red sky videos that were making it onto social media a few days ago? Well, it's eased off a bit there, but it's still pretty bad in Northern California from what my friends are saying. So I'm really concerned. I've got friends and relatives spread over the West Coast, and I'm concerned about what's going on. Apparently there are 500,000 people under evacuation orders of some kind in Oregon right now, and in fact one of my friends said they had to leave relatively quickly. So that's really scary. And some of our students, in fact, may be down there, because I know that we've got some people in the States right now taking 101A. So, my good wishes to you all, and hope that everyone's going to be all right. But yeah, it continues to be really bad. In fact, AccuWeather said that we could end up seeing values for the AQI of over 1,000 this weekend in Portland and Seattle. So that's pretty frightening to think about how much stuff is in the atmosphere. Some of my friends who've got emphysema or asthma are having to stay indoors now. I can feel it catching in my throat. The smell is very evident, and so I'm just hoping everyone can stay safe. So we'll talk a bit more later in the term about air pollution and the fact that we really have to do something about it on an international basis. I mean, the border is closed right now because of COVID, but that doesn't stop the smoke from coming up. And we found that with acid rain as well, when we had to solve that problem with sulfur and nitrogen emissions, in North America. We had to do it between different jurisdictions, between different provinces and states and national governments. It wasn't working to just have one state or province try to do something on its own because the pollution was moving around, and that really kind of revolutionized our understanding about policy and atmospheric pollution and what to do about it. So we'll talk a bit about that when we get to that part of the course. Anyway, so for now, I wanted to just give my good wishes to everybody who may be caught up in this mess. What's really worrying for me is that we've had days kind of like this, not all the time, but enough that in the last few years, so 2017, 2018 in BC, and now this year, we've had days like this when we were getting large amounts of smoke coming in from regional fires. And that's pretty disturbing. I mean, we know that as the climate warms, we're going to get more and more high fire years occurring, is the prediction. And we'll talk about that when we get to that part of the course. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. That in Australia as well, areas in Europe, in Africa are also experiencing brush fires, South America too. So what I've been finding out from my ecology friends is that every environment on Earth practically, except for like very sparse deserts and alpine areas, can catch fire. fire. If there's vegetation, it can burn. Even tropical rainforests can burn on occasion, and wetlands, as one of my profs found out. And we know that we can't really assume that it's going to be safe, as they found in Victoria, Australia, I think it was last year. I mean, they were having tropical rainforests catching fire that probably hadn't burned for like thousands of years. Anyway, so we'll talk about that later, but in the meantime, don't forget, wear a mask if you're in the affected zone for sure, and the rest of the time for COVID, because it is 2020. Anyway, take care everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.